There's a fine line between perfume and poison. For part 2 of this series, we're going to talk about the affair of the Poisons, an inquiry and something of a witch hunt that rocked the court of King Louis XIV. A little backstory. To impress the king and the court, the nobility had to spend lavishly on clothes, carriages, and entertainments. And you're thinking, wait, weren't they rich? Yes, but that was on the backs of the French peasants who were increasingly unable to pay. Hello, French Revolution that was coming up in about 100 years. Also, with the amount of gambling and spending that was going on, they were burning through their money. This created another seedy underground like we talked about in the last video. With all the debauchery going on, there was an underground network of fortune tellers, astrologers, witches, and abortionists who were only too eager to step in and ride the desperation of these nobles. In 1676, a noblewoman, the Marquise de Brinvilliers, was convicted of poisoning her father and 2 brothers after testing her poisons on hospital patients and servants. Everyone was like, oh my god, how could a noble lady do something so heinous? What if she comes after the king and royal family? She was tortured by way of the water cure, and that was where you were forced to drink a ton of water until you confessed, and then she was beheaded. Her confession implicated a whole lot of other nobles, as well as practitioners of magic, witchcraft, and poison. This was the start of the affair of the Poisons. Now let's talk about the 2 most famous people implicated. First, we have the king's former favorite mistress, Madame de Montespan. She had 7 children by way of Louis XIV, who were later legitimized. And she was so influential at court that she was known as the true queen. But things took a turn when the king's eye wandered to a 20-year-old ingenue, the Duchess du Fontaine. Madame de Montespan was so worried about her place at court that she sought out the services of La Voisin. Catherine Voisin was a fortune teller and apothecary who sold beauty products like perfume, creams, and lotions. She also dabbled in love potions, abortions, and poisons. Through her companion, Montespan secured love potions, aphrodisiacs, and even black masses to try to get the attention back from the king. When that failed, Montespan wanted the king and his new mistress dead. La Voisin was convinced to poison a petition that she was to give to the king. The plot was ultimately foiled, however, and the affair of the Poisons was another one of those mass hysteria events. There were over 400 people implicated and 36 people were killed, including La Voisin, who was burned at the stake. The king was both humiliated, but also still loved Montespan because she got to live out her days in exile and was still invited to court functions. I created a perfume called The Affair of the Poisons, and naturally I added belladonna, but it's not real, so it won't kill you, don't worry. It's dark, sultry, and mysterious, and a perfect scent for October. Stay tuned for part 3 coming soon, where we'll dive into Madame Snake.